Hi, this is Shannon again with Shannon Sizzlen Stampers. Today we are continuing on from my spring retreat projects, and we are using the Dressed to Impress stamp set for the next few projects. And it also comes with a set of framelits, or otherwise known as dies. There are two pieces, so when you open that up, they're kind of stuck together. So you have to make sure to pull them apart. For speed today, I'm probably going to fussy cut my images, but if you don't like to fussy cut, or you want this fabulous purse piece, which we will use in a future project, you're going to want these framelits as well. The other thing that you're going to have in your retreat kit is a pack of the Dressed to Impress paper. And so I'm just kind of laying these out so you can kind of see the different patterns that come in this particular package of paper. So you have lots of pinks and the lovely lipstick color, and then you have a lot of the kind of muted purples and sage and mints. So those are the one sides, and then we'll flip those over. And you have the fun patterns like the various lipsticks and cosmetics, perfumes, some more stripes, purple perfume bottles, a nice yellow diagonal. Love the shoes. Colorful dots, old olive dots. The mint with the shoes. A bigger one of the different makeup pieces. And I love this little set with the brushes. And then the lavender Highland Heather floral. So you're going to have those in your kit, and you're going to be seeing those on these projects. So for this first project, let's go ahead and get started. This is the card that we're going to make. I love this because it uses all the little cutesy things, and to save a little bit of time, I've pre-stamped them. So in your kit, you're going to have a scrap of paper of the Whisper White. You're merely stamping one of each of these images with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And then you're going to use something to color it with. Here in the class, I designed it to be used with the blends. If you don't have blends, you can use the watercolor pencils, you can use the blender pens, the glycerin blender pens with your inks, your ink pads, etc. So I'm just going to show a couple of tips on coloring some of these things to show you how to do the shadowing, etc. So we'll start with the shoe. I personally like to do light to dark, but other people like to do dark to light. So I usually go in, I also do the majority of my coloring with the brush tip. So I'm using the lovely lipstick duo of blender pens. Now, if you don't have lovely lipstick, but you have another shade of the pinks, like Flirty Flamingo, you'll probably be able to manipulate and use that, and it will blend and be fine. So I've used the light one. Now I'm going to go in with my dark, lovely lipstick. I'm going to tag the top of that hill, and I'm just going to start at the hill, and I'm kind of just running down along the edge. So for me, when I'm doing this, I'm trying to think of where are the places on the image that light might not hit as much. And then I'm going to come in with my Smoky Slate blender pen, and I'm just going to do the inside of the shoe. You can always do the inside to match. I just thought using the gray kind of give it more shadowed for the inside of a shoe. I'm letting that dry a little bit. Now, here's the trick. See how that looks? You can see that line? I like to go back over it now with my light color again. So I'm going back over the whole thing again with my light color. And you'll watch as I color other things. As it dries, it all blends in together and looks seamless, like seamless coloring. And pretty much do that same trick up here on the lipstick color, the stick itself. And I do a little bit of the dark on this end. And I did the whole, kind of the top. I kind of figured that's where it would be dark. And then I used both the light and the dark smoky on the case. Again, remember, you don't have to color even perfectly on these because we're going to be cutting them out. So, you know, you can do it fairly quickly. If you're staying at home and you're doing it with kids or whatnot, you can, with kids around, you'll be able to get them done quickly. So again, I'm just kind of picking up on what parts of that do I think might, you know, where is my light coming and what am I looking at now? I'm going to do that a little bit darker around there. And then I'm going back over that case. Now, technically, from an art perspective, the way I did this lipstick would be wrong because it can't have shadowed on the side and that side on the same image. It would be wrong. But I just liked the way it looked as far as coloring the lipstick thing. So that's what I went with. You can do it however you want. On the perfume bottle, I use the light petal pink brush to do kind of the outline, the top part of this crystally looking perfume bottle, and down here on the edge a little bit. Kind of did all of this, but then I wanted to pull in that yellow from the designer paper that is getting used on this one. So I'm bringing in the blend in that. Again, super fast, not any fancy coloring. And then I'm going to do my yellow on these flowers as well. Just coloring them super quick. Oh, I didn't grab my, to get for it, I didn't grab my green blender pen, and we do need the olive. We need some little color on these leaves a little bit. I didn't even do double blends on those though, as you can see. I did use the petal pink again, a little bit on this one first, just to give a little bit more drama to the flower. Then I went back in with my lovely lipstick and just kind of colored mutedly around. Okay, so that's where we're getting to. And then I brought that pink back into the center of the other yellow one. The last step on this part is, if you have the Wink of Stella in your collection, I know a lot of you do, I just liked to add that to that top line of the perfume bottle. You're not going to see the rest of the square on this card design, so there's no reason to put the sparkle on it, but if you want to, you can. Now, while I'm going to quickly cut these out and just show you how fast the cut work can be if you don't have the dies. It's really not bad. But I really like this set because it's pretty easy. You've got really fun focal points that you can use on it, and that's one reason I really like this card design, is because it kind of takes all of those feminine images and ties them all together in a nice little focal point that you have down here, and it really pops off of the floral background paper. So when I first was working on this card, I didn't have these flowers on it. I was just using the three images, the shoe, the lipstick, and the perfume bottle. And it just seemed like it needed something more. And I decided to add the flowers because I thought, oh, they'll tie back into that flower background. So it's kind of how I work when I'm coming up with card ideas. A lot of times I'll see an idea that I like, and then I'll go and tweak it and make it my own. Sometimes I'm looking at something, I'll see something in a catalog or a magazine, and I'll just take that and make it my own. If you already made the triple perfume very vellum set of note cards, you know cutting out these perfume bottles is not nearly as tedious as you would think from looking at the bottle. So I cut that pretty quickly. They do cut relatively fast. Again, like I say oftentimes, I can fussy cut my images faster than the time it takes me to get out my big shot and dies. Now, with that said, if I'm making multiples of a card, like several cards, especially like Christmas or something, I will like to do my die cut machine, because otherwise it starts to hurt my hand. But honestly, one of the key reasons I got these dies is for the purse framelit that is in there, because it's super cute and you can make different types of purses, a tote, more kind of like a beach bag tote. You can make a backpack from it. So I'm going to show you those on another video. All right, so see, just like that, I have all my little things cut out. So the other items in your kit for this card are a Whisper White card base that you'll merely fold in half. I've already done that. You have a piece of lovely lipstick that is about 2 1/4 by the standard 5 1/2, because it's going to run the length of that card base. You're going to use your print out of your paper pack that you receive in your bag, and you're going to need to cut this to be 5 1/2, again, standard length of the card, by 2, okay? And that's going to get layered just like that. So you're going to use whatever adhesive that you have that you want to. Snell, the Tombow Mono is really good for this. And you're just kind of centering it between that. And then, same thing, adhese that rectangle down the center of your white card. Doesn't have to be totally perfect. You're just trying to, remember, this is handmade art. So move mine up a little bit. I got it way too off on there. Okay. All right. So the next thing, you have a punch circle in the Whisper White, and we're going to take the Hello Fabulous stamp from the set, again with the black. It's another reason I really like this set. It's great. You don't have to have a lot of inks. You can just have the black ink, and if you have some coloring tools, whether that's watercolor pencils, blends, the glycerin blender pens, an aqua painter, you can use that with your ink pads as well, but you don't have to have quite as many inks when you do this. So now all I'm doing is I'm looking at my card, and I'm just going to kind of decide where I want to lay this, and I am choosing to do my circle flat. If you wanted, you could choose to have it popping up as well, but I liked it flat because I felt like there's going to be a lot of dimension on this card, as you're going to see. We're going to remove those bling pins out of my way. Actually, I'll take a couple of those back. You are going to color with, if you have the blend pens. If not, again, no big deal. Use them clear. Use your rhinestones clear. Remember, you each have a sheet, a package of the rhinestones in your kit. That's why that's not coloring easily. I like the brush tips. So I'm doing two lights and 2 darks, and then I'm going to do one medium-sized one that's the yellow. You can color them however you want. You don't need to color them. They can be clear. I'm just going to set those to the side so they can dry a little bit. While we're doing that, I'm going to start putting on all of my little accessories, literally. Shoes, those are an accessory. Lipstick can be considered an accessory. So we're going to put, we're going to be putting dimensionaling, is that a word? That'll be a word in my dictionary probably. My kids have a Shannon dictionary for words like wonky and other things. So I'm just going to put dimensionals on these all over. And then you're just going to start peeling your dimensionals off. And layering them up. So for my purpose, when I was planning this card, before I ever took off my dimensional stickers, I laid them all out and said, this is where I want this to go. This is, do I want my shoe there? No, I ended up liking it over here. because the lipstick is taller. I also didn't want it to sit straight on. I did it kind of at an angle. So you can play with that. You don't have to make your layout exactly like mine. It could be different. Because I now already know my layout, I can just quickly fly through here and I kind of know where all of my images are going to lay at. You know, I always tell people it's best to make multiples of a card because for me, the most amount of work is in designing the very first card. Once I get one designed and have it all figured out, it's super easy to put it all together. Looking up there, we're trying this filming with a new camera above me, so we'll see how that goes compared to behind my shoulder. All right, so there's so far what I've got on my card. And again, remember I talked about having negative or empty space. I a lot of times call it empty. My husband's always correcting me, it's negative space. But that negative space is where I'm going to fill in my little blingy eyes. So just however I decide that I want them to go and be, that's where they're, whoop. Uh-oh. That's where they're going to be. So, color them however you want. I can see I did different colors on this one. Again, if you don't have colors, you don't have the blends, you do have to color the rhinestones with the blends because they are an alcohol-based marker, and that alcohol is what allows the ink to adhere. So coloring with a regular marker isn't going to work. You can do a Sharpie marker, you're just going to miss out on that perfect coordination of Stampin' Up! Colors. But there you have it. So there is our finished project on that Hello Fabulous card, and it's super fabulous with all of the girly blingy accessories and florals. So I hope you enjoyed that.